Friends, welcome to the Maldives, a small island nation in the heart of Indian Ocean that over the last 2 decades has become one of the most desired holiday destinations in the whole world. Well, and this of course is thanks to the beautiful white sand beaches, thousands of water villas and millions of half-naked pictures on social media showcasing this beauty. But just like many other things we see on social media, it is quite far from the whole truth. Believe it or not, but being in your bikini here on a public beach is actually illegal in the Maldives and can get you arrested. But more than just a dress code, in today's video we want to show you the beauty and fascinating part of this country that never make it to Instagram. So buckle up, as today we will take you on a ride in the real and local part of the Maldives. Just like for 99% of people who visit the Maldives, our journey also started in an airport. And I'll be honest, after more than 2 stressful months in India, we felt quite excited to be leaving this country.
We are out of India.
We are out of India, guys. With big smiles on our face, we boarded the plane. And officially our journey to Maldives starts now. Then found our seats, and after a good old safety briefing, our new adventure began. For the first 2 hours of the flight, the only thing that could be seen from the airplane window was the seemingly endless Indian Ocean. Yet suddenly there was dozens of islands rising from the sea. And yes, that was the moment we first laid our eyes on the Maldives. This country is made up of about 1,200 islands that are divided into 26 ring-shaped island groups called atolls. Crazy to think that once upon a time, about 70 million years ago, all of those 26 atolls used to be volcanoes. But after millions of years of nature magic called erosion, they have now been transformed into what we like to call paradise islands. Well, I could go on and on talking about how pretty this country is from above, but for some reason our pilot decided it was time to land the plane. Entering this country was fairly easy. Visa was free and made on the spot, and even getting a SIM card was simpler than I had ever seen before. Okay, this is pretty cool. You literally swipe your passport and it gives you the SIM card. Then we were guided to a post office where we could buy a local bus ticket. Instead of a 20 euro taxi ride, we got ourselves 2 bus tickets for
€1 each.
1 euro, yeah, it's a very good deal and it was super easy. What a nice start to the adventure. After a short 10-minute wait, we were on our way to our home for the next 3 days. As soon as we got off the bus, the culture shocks started. They just let us over the crosswalk, which was super weird because the last country we visited was India, and crosswalk over there it's more like a decoration, something like this. You can't trust it, like never trust a crosswalk in India. But the organized traffic culture wasn't the only surprise. I don't remember the last time I could put my legs in water and not worry that the water is dirty or full of trash, or that feels so good. Well, and now that we have gotten the first glimpse of the Maldives, of Hulhumalé, which is like a side city to the capital, I guess it's time to go ahead and find our hotel. And once again, we pretty much picked the cheapest option, so it was like 70 or 90, yeah.
Welcome to our crib, before we trash it.
And I'll do very little steps so the room seems bigger. Yeah guys, I don't blame you if you're thinking that we are way too excited about the hotel room. Graceful. But after living the last 10 months in our van, having a shower and a flushing toilet really feels like luxury to us.
It's weird when two homeless people have a hotel now.
Well, and here are our last thoughts from the first day in this country. It's pretty cool. We're still like almost in the capital of Maldives, and just one side of the city is beach like this. But I have to say that I'm glad that there's no more honking on the street. It's much more calmer. We are no more special because there's a lot of tourists here and people don't look at us weird. Nobody really pays us attention, and it's quite nice after 6 months. But it's just the first day here, so tomorrow we will truly start discovering this area here.
Well, good morning. We're at the breakfast table now, and I think it's the aircon from the room, but I've kind of lost my voice. So the first full day in Maldives you're gonna have to spend with a guy who speaks like a Terminator. Yeah, we're gonna finish this and I'll be back.
Alrighty, the voice clearly hasn't returned to me, but what is different today is the sun. We are here in the Maldives on the rainy season and we thought it was gonna be grey and dark, but it's freaking beautiful today. The plan for the second day was simple. We wanted to learn more about the local ways and customs. For this, we headed to the bus station once again. Two. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Getting a ticket, you just walk into the bus and you tap your bank card. It's a little bit less than €1, like 60 cents, and you got a ticket. And international cards work.
Exactly.
It's so unusual. So the island we're currently on is called Hulhumalé, and it looks very new and everything has just been built, and there's a very good reason for this. Well, and the reason is that 25 years ago, there was literally no land here. It was all covered with water. In the matter of fact, Maldives is the lowest and flattest country on earth. Its highest peak, called Mount Vilingili, is literally 5 meters tall. And the average elevation of the Maldives is about 2 meters above the sea level. Yeah, I guess many of you can probably understand why rapidly rising sea levels due to global warming is really quite bad news for the locals. But luckily, engineers figured out how to reclaim at least some of the land that was lost by bumping up sand from the bottom of the ocean and forming new islands. Hulhumalé, the twin city to Maldives' capital Malé, is a very good example of this new technology. The project started in 1997 and now 50,000 people, or about 10% of the country's population, now lives on this man-made island, and the construction is far from finished. And here we are at the end of part of Hulhumalé called Phase 1, and this on the other side of the river is called Phase 2. Well, it's self-explanatory. Phase 1 was built first and already has like 50,000 people living on it, and Phase 2 is mostly still under construction. The island is ready, but now they're just building houses for thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Impressive! Walking in Hulhumalé actually reminded us a lot of a suburb in any big city. Most of it was housing blocks, shops and restaurants. Yet there was still enough greenery and pedestrian trails to make it a nice place for a walk and to simply enjoy the sea breeze. But the thing that separates it from any other place we have seen was the kilometers-long beach line. The color of the water, combined with a unique white Maldivian sand, is just so beautiful. It's still a little bit hard to believe that this beach, this island, everything is man-made. And here you can really see that the whole side of this island is man-made. Like underneath it's like a concrete rock blocks that have been poured into sandbags, and the whole side has been done with them, and then this white sand has been pumped from the bottom of the ocean and laid on top of everything. Quite impressive, I must say. Of course, we couldn't say no to such tempting water, but as we got to the beach we realized that swimming here is not quite as easy as we were used to. Strictly forbidden. No bikini whatsoever. Nowhere on this island or the capital Malé is it allowed to swim in your bikini, and there's actually a good reason for it. But before we could dive deeper into figuring out this reason, we wanted to cool ourselves in a tempting ocean. And since we want to respect local traditions, then let's put on some clothes to go swimming. I know it sounds weird, but well, that's how it works. 2023 bikini fashion. Yep, as you can tell, I was quite happy to be in the water after about 6 months break due to the water quality in the countries we had been visiting. The swim was absolutely glorious. Yet as we were heading back to our hotel room, we noticed another interesting thing. There was a lot of stray cats on the street, but not a single dog. And if you're wondering, then it's not because the beachfront is like a huge and perfect litter box for the cats, but it's due to the same thing that prohibits swimming in our bikini. I'm sure many of you already know the answer, but for us it took few more hours to understand. And so we headed back home to get ready for another adventure. By the way, is it only us, or after like a day or two in a hotel it looks like a total mess?
After 2 hours. Be truthful.
Yep, once again we found ourselves in a bus station. Yet this time, we were heading the other way. The scenic drive lasted about 10 minutes. And after leaving the bus, we found ourselves in the capital of Maldives, called Malé.
We are now officially in the capital city, Malé.
It is connected to Hulhumalé with a big bridge. And as soon as we arrived, it was clear that the capital has quite a different atmosphere from its twin city that we were already familiar with. And friends, when you are in Malé, you just cannot miss the famous opera house. Just have a look at it from above. Yeah, those shots were clearly not from this thing. Yeah, it was much funnier in my head. Moving on. Malé is mostly made out of high multi-story buildings. And guessing from the amount of motorbikes on the street, it has much more people than Hulhumalé. 80% of the time when you're walking in Malé, it's between high buildings like this. It definitely is not what I expected before coming here. Malé truly felt like a capital, and not at all like the paradise island we had expected Maldives to be. We were lucky enough to have found a friend on couchsurfing called Saeed, who would properly introduce his city and culture to us. And we were not disappointed. Saeed showed us the true Maldivian hospitality, told us the best places to visit, and shared with us knowledge about local culture and people. He even offered me a weird local snack, which he told me was used to refreshen my mouth after a meal. It tasted funny, and when I googled it afterwards, it said it was betel nut, one of the most addictive natural stimulants in the world. So he just said that Maldivians can't live without it. Every time you finish eating, you have a little bit of this. And probably due to the fact that alcohol is banned in the Maldives, betel nut has become like a social glue. And whenever people come together, they like to chew it while spending time with each other. Oh, and we also figured out the reason for the bikini and cats, but I guess I'd better show it to you instead of just telling it. So what I wanted to say... Yes, this is an Islamic call to prayer, and all around the Maldives, hundreds of mosques can be found. Maldivians are a deeply Islamic nation, and nearly 100% of its population are Muslim. Thanks to this, some of the local traditions, like ban on dogs, alcohol, and bikini, might be unusual to some visitors. But this religion also brings a lot of positive to the society. For example, crime rates here are extremely low, making it one of the safest countries in Asia. And also, Islamic hospitality is notorious all over the world. Oh, and by the way, we were asked to dinner by our hotel, which is super nice. They're having Maldivian barbecue and they were like, you have to come. We've experienced it in many countries before, and the Maldives was no exception. First, of course, there was Said. And in my opinion, the best way to get to know a local culture is to visit their market. But the local market was no exception either. Without hesitation, vendors asked us to try their goods. The chocolate was really good. Coconut chocolate, coconut cookies, and fish in all shapes and forms. Assalamu alaikum. Wow, this market is just dried fish. The gentleman here, he just opened up a passion fruit, filled it up with coconut honey. Very tasty. You have the sour of maracuya, of passion fruit, and the sweetness of the honey work together so well. Fish, coconuts and bananas are the three things they have all year round, and this makes up a huge portion of local diet. In my opinion, the local fish market is one of the liveliest places in the whole capital, and it's probably been this way for centuries. There was only one thing I truly didn't like about this city. One thing I really haven't seen in this city is public trash bins. It was almost impossible to find a place I could put my trash, and the streets clearly showed that the locals feel the same way. Don't get me wrong, the streets here are far cleaner than in India, for example. But since Maldives have been preaching nature protection to the world for years, I really expected that they had solved those problems in their home by now.
By now we've seen quite a lot of the concrete jungle that is the capital of the Maldives.
But as we heard from our friend Said, you haven't seen Maldives until you go to a local island. So that's where we're heading now. We're trying to get a speedboat to a place called Huraa. So it almost sounds like hooray! But yeah, we're gonna see if it's as fun as the word. After wandering in the port for a good 15 minutes, we finally found the right place. It cost about $7 per person for the speedboat ticket. And after about 30 minutes drive, we had made it. Well, welcome to Huraa, our first local island. And straight away, you can see the differences. First one, there's no more asphalt, there's no more paved roads. Everything is made out of sand, that it makes this place like so much more homey, so much more natural. Houses on this island were also much smaller than in a capital, and they created a cozy atmosphere. Yet there was one thing that seemed a little bit off. Although there was hundreds of households, we saw almost no people. It was like a ghost town. We simply couldn't figure it out, and well, decided to go to the beach instead. And now we're heading to those palm trees. Beach life. It actually says that this is Huraa Guest Bikini Beach. So it's supposed to be one of the beaches where you can actually swim in your bikini. It felt special, having this beautiful beach all to ourselves. We spent hours here enjoying the beauty of Maldives, swimming, sunbathing, and simply relaxing in the sun. But all of a sudden, during my last drone flight over the town, I noticed that many bikes are driving to the other end of the island. We packed our things and headed that way as well. What we discovered there summarizes local Maldivian culture in the best way possible. Turns out we were visiting Huraa during the second biggest Islamic holiday called Eid al-Adha. It's quite crazy. The holiday that is going on at the moment is called Feast of the Sacrifice, and in most Islamic countries it means that they're sacrificing animals and sharing the meat. But Maldivians, as a beach nation,
party!
it's just a huge beach party with white unicorns and pink flamingos. Super cool. The way this holiday was celebrated showcased so well that although Maldivians are Muslims and therefore conservative in some aspects of life, then at the same time they are also an island nation who knows perfectly well how to have good time and not take life too seriously. And with this newly found knowledge, we were ready to move on, because as it turns out, this country is truly full of surprises.
Friends, this was our first adventure from the Maldives, but there is so much more to come. And if there is any topic that you would like us to talk about, let us know in the comments below. Other than this, we will see you in a little bit less than a week next Thursday.
Bye!